Understanding government classified information and transparency issues. Explore the complex balance between government classified information, secrecy, and accountability in a casual, insightful discussion. Government secrecy laws and accountability. What's really going on? Hey, have you ever wondered why some government documents and information are locked away so tightly that even members of Congress sometimes can't see them? It feels like there's this huge invisible wall of government secrecy laws preventing us from knowing what's really happening behind closed doors. I want to talk about that today. The whole mess of government classified information, government information secrecy, and how it ties into accountability. It's a tricky balance, and honestly, it's pretty fascinating once you get into it. So first off, why does the government keep so many things secret? On the surface, it's about protecting national security, safeguarding military plans, diplomatic communications, or intelligence operations. That's the official reason. But then, there's this big debate about government confidentiality gone too far, which ends up shielding government secret policies that the public arguably has a right to know about. Sometimes the line between protecting the country and hiding inconvenient truths gets really blurry. Government secrecy isn't a new thing. It's baked into the system through laws designed to classify information at different levels: confidential, secret, top secret, and so on. These classifications dictate who can see what and for how long. But here's where things get messy. These classification rules can be exploited. You've heard about whistleblowers or leaks, right? Those usually happen because regular channels for accountability are blocked by extreme government document secrecy. People on the inside feel the need to expose certain truths because the normal system is not working or is deliberately shutting down transparency. And speaking of transparency, one fundamental issue in American democracy is how to keep the government accountable when so much is hidden. Government transparency issues come into play every time a scandal breaks or when watchdog groups try to get their hands on government records. It's a constant tug of war between the public's right to know and the government's claim of necessity for secrecy. What a lot of folks don't realize is that accountability often relies on some degree of openness. If we never see the classified details of government secret policies, how can we hold anyone accountable for mistakes or abuses? History is full of examples where secrecy was used to cover up wrongdoing. Think about past surveillance programs or covert operations that weren't exactly by the book. That's why advocates for freedom of information push hard against excessive classification and strive for policies that encourage responsible transparency. But then, it isn't as simple as just open everything. Certain legitimate secrets have to exist to protect strategic interests. The challenge is how to find a middle ground where government information secrecy doesn't become a shield for deception or incompetence. Laws like the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, try to do this by allowing citizens to request access to government records. But even FOIA has its limitations and lots of exemptions, especially when classified information is involved. Here's a fun and chilling way to look at this whole dynamic. There's a book called Hush, a psychological thriller of alien manipulation and deep state deceit. It's a wild ride, but brilliantly ties into the theme of government information secrecy and the potential consequences when deep state forces manipulate what's kept hidden and what's revealed. If you're into thrilling stories that mirror real-world issues about secret policies and the shadowy corridors of power, this is a great read. You can buy it now in ebook, print, or audio and get ready for a suspenseful take on how government confidentiality intersects with psychological manipulation. Bottom line, government secrecy laws are complicated and necessary to some extent, but they're also a double-edged sword. Without proper checks, they can lead to a culture of unaccountability and mistrust. So next time you hear about classified something or another, think about how much information is really being kept for our safety, and how much is kept because someone doesn't want the public asking uncomfortable questions. Thanks for sticking around while I talked your ear off about government secrecy. It's one of those topics that feels dry at first, but actually shapes a huge part of how our country works beneath the surface. If you're curious and want to learn more through an entertaining story that blends fiction with those very real government transparency issues, check out Hush. It's a reminder that what's hidden matters, and sometimes secrets have a way of coming out.